Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life, that they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father which gave them me is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand.
You don't go to a 5-star restaurant and order milk. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Chak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace to the elect of the nation of Israel scattered throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, pushing this word of humility and sincerity as commanded by Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Chak Kodash. You don't go to a 5-star restaurant and order milk. So why do people come into this truth and want to stay on the milk forever, want to stay on the titty forever? A baby is not on her mother's breast forever. That's a temporary thing until they grow. 1 Peter 2:2. It says, as newborn babes, because we couldn't get the kingdom without being born again. Okay, but after you're born again, you don't remain in that infant state. You don't remain in a state of infancy. And you're constantly still stuck on the milk. It's always good to go back to the milk. But the main thing that you should grow up. Grow the hell up. And when you grow up in this truth, you are occupied in prophecy. That's when you're a full age, when you're grown, because you're able to go into the more difficult topics, the more controversial topics, the deep breakdowns, all right, the controversial breakdowns and prophecy. That's when you actually are full grown in this truth. If you're still on the milk and you're still going over basic topics, that means that you're still a baby. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you cannot stay there. You are not supposed to stay there. And these other camps, they have stayed there, man. These other camps are nothing but a milk restaurant. Like, it's a restaurant that only sells milk. Here it is. They have the truth, quote unquote. It's supposed to be a 5-star restaurant because this truth is likened unto, to me, it's likened unto a 5-star restaurant. It's the best of the best. There's nothing better than this truth, right? So when you come to it, you should want to get the most that restaurant has to offer. You want the best steaks. You want the best fish. You want the best wine. You want the best honey on your bread. You want the best slices of bread, the best loaves. But you damn sure, you're not about to go to no 5-star restaurant and order milk. Yeah, you're going to get the milk. That's complimentary. The milk comes complimentary. But it comes a time where you have to grow from the milk and be able to digest meat, be able to be occupied in prophecy, actually be a prophet. And that's the one thing that these camps fail to do. They are that restaurant that only serves milk. And their followers are people that go to these restaurants and only order milk. 1 Peter 2:2, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the Lord, that ye may grow thereby. And so be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious. So we're supposed to desire the milk. And once we get the milk, we grow off of the milk. But we do not stay on the milk. We digest the milk, the basic things, what grace is, what it means to be holy, separating ourselves, these holidays, the names of the Lord, all that stuff. Marriage, all that stuff, all that good stuff. And then once we done got that in our system, then we move on to meat, and then strong meat, which is these prophecies, these deeper understandings. Let me go to Sirach 39. Because when you come of a full age, and this is why you need elders, because as a baby, that's all you know is milk. It's not nothing that you're doing wrong. You just haven't been raised by men of full age. Your quote unquote elders are still babies themselves. And how do we know? By their curriculum, so to speak. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12. For when the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High. So these people in these other camps and these other camp leaders, they actually have need that they be taught again by the true prophets. Because prophets are digesting meat. Prophets serve meat. Prophets are a 5-star restaurant that serves anything that you want, as long as it's clean, as long as it's sound doctrine. Okay? A prophet is not going to offer you milk every time you see him. He's not going to offer you the commandments every time you see him. He's not going to offer you, just these basic understandings, these basic topics that men go over as if it's deep. And again, there's nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with being on the milk, but you cannot stay on the titty forever. Why would you want to? Let me get one more. Thought of something. And we know that these, Isaiah 28, let me get Isaiah 28. In verse 9, it says, whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. So after you're off the milk, you're weaned off of the milk. You're drawn off of the breast. You're done with the milk now. You've been in this truth a year, you should be done with the milk. You've been in this truth 2 years, you should be done with the milk. You should be on the prophecy now. You should be on being a watchman and breaking down Revelation, breaking down these Daniel and Revelation 11, 12, 13, 20, 21, Daniel 2, Daniel 7, Daniel 8, That's where you should, Daniel 12, that's an easy one. All the books of Isaiah, all the books of Jeremiah, you should be on these breakdowns. You should be on these bigger topics because you got new people coming in and they're on the milk now. Let them be on the milk. You know what I'm saying? Eventually you got to change lanes. You go, when you first start driving, you stay in that one lane that's closest to the exit, and then as you get more comfortable driving on the freeway, you start to move over. And then once you're an experienced driver, you go all the way over to the far left, the fast lane, and you're comfortable in the fast lane. Same thing with this truth. You have to be weaned from the milk. You have to be drawn from the breast. Isaiah 28 and 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. So you have to have this milk first. All right, that's the only way you're going to get knowledge is if you get the milk first. You're not going to get knowledge by getting the meat first. That's why we got Hebrews. Let's go back to Hebrews 5 and 12. You got this certain individuals, they come into this truth and they want to have the meat first. They feel like they was woke in the world, so now when they come into the truth, they can just hop into all the deep stuff of the truth. No, it don't work like that. You need to start with the basics, slow down. I just want to know, Revelation breakdowns, and if you could break down Genesis 3 for me. Well, when did you come into truth? 2 weeks ago. No, man, you're not ready. It would destroy you. If I get my son and he was just born, he's still an infant, 3 months, 2 months, and I give him some chicken, it will literally destroy him. He will literally choke and die. Okay? So you have to have this thing done in order. You can't have too much honey, or you're going to vomit it up. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, Proverbs 25 and 16. As thou found honey, which the honey is talking about this word, this truth. It says, has thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee. So you have to pace yourself. You have to pace yourself on what you digest in this truth when you first come in. And it should be the milk. Okay? It should be the milk. It should be the honey. Butter and honey. Milk and honey shall he eat. Talking about Yahweh shall this wisdom and this understanding. It says, hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomited. Because if you digest too much honey is actually it's good for you, but it can be deadly. You can't give a baby honey. You can't give I believe you can't give a pregnant woman honey, because honey is a strong substance and it will literally kill you. It could kill you. So you have to eat it with a lot of moderation. Same thing with this truth. Proverbs 25:16, hast thou found honey? Eat so much as sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit it. You don't want to vomit it back up, meaning you don't want to digest the doctrine, and then the doctrine is too much for you because you didn't pace yourself. It was insufficient for you. It was too much, and now you vomit it back up. You spit back up the doctrine because you don't fully understand it, so you just cast it out as being incorrect. So Hebrews 5:12 says, for when the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh. Because a lot of times when brothers are still on the milk, they consider themselves a leader. They consider themselves an elder. They consider themselves a top guy when they're still on the milk. You're not an elder. You're not a leader. You're not self-sufficient. You're not ready. You're not ready to be a head of a camp. You see what I'm saying? You're still on the milk. Therefore, you need to be taught again. You feel like you're able to be on your own. I can start my own camp, Watchmen for Israel. I can start my own camp, Sons of Zion, Sons of the Most High, Prophets of the Most High. I'm starting my own camp. But you're still on the milk. You have need that one teach you again. A lot of things that you break down are wrong. You telling me that Isaiah 4:1, the strangers in Isaiah 4:1 are other nations. They're not. You're saying that the Gentiles are the other nations. They're not. You're saying that the mark of the beast is spiritual. They're not. You have need that one teach you again because you're still a baby. You're still on milk in the spirit. The difference with the spirit and the carnal is that the carnal goes according to time. A baby is only on the milk for about a year, maybe 2 years. And then a baby moves on to meat and, juice and water and all these other things. That's every time. Now, a man could be in this truth for 5 years and still be on the milk because this time is not according to the time in the world. You can't just say, oh, well, I was in the truth for 3 years, so, now I'm good. I can hold my own. That would be true if you were not still a baby, if you were not still on the milk, if you were not still on the breast and had not been weaned yet. You have not been weaned from the breast yet. So therefore, you have not been taught knowledge. You have not been taught doctrine fully because you're still on the milk. It said that who shall he teach knowledge? He's going to teach the ones that have been weaned off of the milk, that have come off of the milk, that have come off of the breast. Hebrews 5:12, for when the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh. And this is the first principle that a lot of men forget and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. So you have need of milk all over again because this scripture right here is milk. The fact that you're not ready to be a teacher because you're not even on the meat. You're still on the milk. Therefore, you're not ready. You need to be taught again. That's milk that the people that have the milk forget about. 13. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. So you're truly unskillful. It's okay to be a teacher and you teach milk, but you're truly still unskillful. So how could somebody that's unskillful fend for themselves? How could somebody that's unskillful, that's still on the milk, count themselves a camp leader, a camp head, an elder? It doesn't work like that, but that's how Israel wants to make it work. Because Israel walks in the flesh. It says inexperienced in, without experience of, ignorant, unskillful. So basically you're inexperienced. You don't have enough experience in this word. You haven't been ran through these scriptures enough. You haven't marked up your Bible and highlighted enough. It says unskillful. Unskillful. That says it all right there. For everyone that use everyone, not just, this brother, he used milk, but he's still skillful. No, it says for everyone. Okay? You're supposed to be on meat after a certain period of time. You're supposed to be weaned off of the milk, off of the breast. And you're supposed to be on meat and strong meat. Prophecy. Okay? Prophecy, breakdowns, the deep parable, the dark sayings. You're supposed to be in that deep stuff, man. You're supposed to get deep with it, man. All right, after you've been off that milk. Now, if you're still on the milk, you're unskillful. You're unskillful. Hebrews 5, verse 13. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. You see? For he is a babe. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, which are the elders, the apostles. Okay, and the elders and apostles raise up men that become full age, and they start to chew meat. It says, but strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age. Let's see what it says for full age. It says, brought to its end, finished, perfect, wanting nothing necessary to completeness. Of men full grown, adult of full age, mature, right? So mature or perfect, or a brother who lacks nothing as far as understanding of certain prophecies and things like that. They completely went through all the breakdowns. They know them, and they continue to go over them because that's the meat. They're on meat now. They're not on milk. Therefore, they're able to be a camp head. Therefore, they're able to be a leader. They're able to discern and teach rightly and correctly without offending, and persuading and winning souls because they've had their senses exercised. It says in various applications of labor, they've worked. They put in the work. It says growth. They've grown. They've had the milk. They've been weaned off of the milk, and now they've grown with the meat. Mental and moral character. Growth in your mental and moral character. They don't act like a child. They don't act like a female. They're not emotional. They use reason and logic. They don't let their emotions dictate their judgments on the planet Earth. It says mental and moral character. They've grown and they've labored in mental and moral character. Completeness, full age, man, perfect. All right, they're about their Father's business. When you're dealing with business, you speak directly and correctly. You don't LOL and, you know what I'm saying? You just, this is what it is, this is what it ain't, this is what it's got to be, this is what it should be, this is what it's been, this is what it can't be no more. That's how you speak when you're doing business. And we are about our Father's business. And those are men that are on milk. Those are the men that are on meat. Hebrews 5:14. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, mature in this truth, experienced, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. See, to be able to discern what's good and what's evil. Because if you're still on milk, you're going to make an irrational decision because the things that you think are evil are actually righteous. But your spirit is off because you're unskillful. You're unskillful. So you don't understand order. You don't understand judgment because you're still on milk. But the scriptures say that the scriptures say 1 Corinthians 8:1, it says, now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth. So knowledge puffeth up. So you're still on milk, yet you haven't had your senses exercised to discern good and evil. But you're under the impression that you do, that you have. So when a situation arises, you don't judge it correctly according to the scriptures because you're unskillful, because you're still on milk, And those that are on meat, like I said, will be occupied in prophecy. Will be doing into these deeper understandings, man. Answering a hard question. When people have hard questions, the reincarnation. When people have tough questions, they'll go into it because they are on meat. They can do that. Somebody have a basic question, a brother who's on milk answers the basic question. But you can't stay on the titty forever. Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients and be occupied in prophecy. He will keep the sayings of renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. This is a man that's on meat. Okay, this is a man that's on meat. This is what he's going to be occupied in. When you go to his catalog, this is what you're going to see his message being put out. All right, about these type of topics. He shall serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travail through strange countries, for he have tried the good and the evil among men. You see, having his senses exercised to both try to discern good and evil. It says, he shall serve among great men and appear before princes. Right, not alone. Okay, because he was raised amongst other men. Okay, he's been through disagreements. He's been through rebuke. He's been through trials and tribulation. He's been up. He's been down. He's needed help. He's given help. It says, he shall serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travail through strange countries, for he have tried the good and the evil among men. He will give his heart to resort early. He will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him, and will pray before the Most High, and will open his mouth in prayer and make supplication for his sins. When the great Lord will, he shall be filled with the spirit of understanding. He shall pour out wise sentences and give thanks unto the Lord in his prayer. He shall direct his counsel and knowledge, and in his secret shall he meditate. He shall show forth that he which have learned, and shall glory in the covenant. It's like in the law of the covenant of the Lord. Many shall commend his understanding, and so long as the world endureth, it shall not be blotted out. His memorial shall not depart away, and his name shall live forever from generation to generation, the elect. Lord, when it's edifying, Brother Yaquam, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Kaya, Rakahakodash, for the Holy Spirit to bring out this lesson. And Lord, when this lesson was edifying, Kwam Yashrala, Shalom.